Welcome, Premier Tim Houston, and we'll start with questions in the room.
How did the Geneva trip come about, and what can you tell us about that?
Well, listen, this is a massive opportunity for the Port of Halifax. The owners of the port are considering a application to the fund that the federal government has. So I met with the Port of Halifax, I don't know, maybe a month ago. It's hundreds of $millions, could approach $1 billion. And after they briefed me on it, I just extended to them that if there was anything that I could do to help encourage the owners to make the application, that I'd be willing to do that. So they reached out last week and said there's a chance to meet with the owner of MSC. It's the largest shipping company in the world by a long shot, private family-owned business. So when you get a chance to meet with the owner of that company, you take it. So it was short notice. Obviously, we left on Sunday afternoon of what was a long weekend for lots of people. I had a long list of things I was planning to do with my family over that time, but it's still any opportunity to attract significant investment to Nova Scotia. That's my number one priority right now. So we went over there. We had a great meeting with them. So I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic about what's possible there.
Sense that they will apply for that funding?
That's my sense, yeah.
So the port has had some, global events haven't been great for the port lately. The Suez is closed, and at least temporarily, that sort of hurts the port's competitive advantage. Did you get a sense that they're playing a longer game than that?
Yeah. These people are thinking 25, 30. They look at 30-year horizon. Same as most of the stuff in energy, but the natural advantages for the Halifax port are very, very significant, especially as the size of the ships are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the ships that we would be able to handle in Halifax are they're not ships that they can make it up to Montreal. They're not ships that go to Port St. John's. They're like Halifax is the port, is the opportunity. So I think people in the shipping business can see that as well. So they look long term for sure.
Who did you meet exactly? I'm not sure of the
That was MSC. They're a 49% owner in the Port of Halifax.
But you said the owner of MSC?
Diego Aponte was there.
Premier, the National Energy Strategy consultations, as I understand it, are underway. Has that started in earnest with Nova Scotia?
I'm not sure if the consultations themselves have started, but I think it's a very positive development for Nova Scotia, particularly as we look at Wind West and the need for more transmission. Strengthening transmission connections are just really important for our grid anyway. So I think the fact that the federal government has got to the point where they're willing to make significant investments and they want to chat about that, those are good conversations for Nova Scotia. It's all upside.
Will you be advocating to see in that strategy?
Well, the strengthening of the interprovincial connections are really important. So, we obviously with the Wind West project specifically, we're going to need transmission for sure. Could be a $15 billion transmission project, most likely into Hydro-Quebec. Could be further. So we'll be looking to make sure that it is understood the needs of Nova Scotia, which are significant.
Part of the announcement that the Prime Minister made last week was that there will be adjustments to the clean electricity regulations. Would the gas plants that are proposed for Pictou County be able to proceed under the existing regulations, or are those proposed adjustments that the Prime Minister mentioned necessary in order?
It's not my understanding that they're necessary.
Okay, we don't need them. The gas plants would meet those regulations.
That's my understanding, yeah.
There's a U.S. group that wants to build an entertainment district near the airport, a stadium, housing. They say their biggest hurdle right now is getting municipal water to the site. Your government passed a bill in the spring that would allow you to direct Halifax Water to build infrastructure where needed to accelerate housing. Is that something you'd be prepared to do if it came to that in this case?
These are discussions I'm willing to have. That the bill was not for that specific purpose, but just in the same vein as the port that we just talked about. Anytime we can attract capital to Nova Scotia, significant capital, we're interested in that. In this case, the stadium complex and stuff, we'd be looking for that to be private capital. But if there are things that have dual purposes, such as water and sewer, may fit that bill, roads may fit that bill, those are discussions we're willing to have. I haven't personally had any of those discussions, but I'm intrigued by it, I would say.
No, to the best of your knowledge, have they asked the government for any financial support for this project?
I'm not aware. I mean, certainly some people in government have met with some of the proponents, and so there's been discussions along the line of that you're talking about around infrastructure, but I'm not aware of a specific ask of the government at this time.
Generally, your feeling about the project would be?
Show me the business case. Like, let's look at the business case. But if we can do something that can attract significant private capital to Nova Scotia, and it involves an investment in infrastructure which would have other uses like housing and stuff, then yeah, we're interested in that. But I need to see the business case.
The long-term care strike has been going on for more than a month now. What are you willing to do to bring it to an end?
I think this is a difficult situation for sure. It's difficult for the residents, difficult for the families, it's difficult for the workers. I mean, the workers in long-term care facilities are our friends and neighbors, right? So it's difficult. It's difficult for government. But I think what I have said to some of the workers that I've had a chance to chat with is we have a pretty solid track record on collective bargaining. We've negotiated over 400 agreements. So we believe in the collective bargaining process. I think if you compare that to the Liberals before us, like we know what the Liberals, they legislated. As a matter of fact, I still have to deal with a mess that the Liberals left us on that Bill 148. Just for order of magnitude, that could cost at least $300 million. It's a big mess that they left us. But we're not like that. We believe in the collective bargaining process, so I think our history is good. What we would like to see, and I've expressed this to the members, this is a contract that has been accepted by, I think, 24 bargaining units. It was just accepted by Unifor over the last couple of weeks, accepted by CUPE as well. But for home care over the last couple of weeks, it's a deal that continues to be accepted. It's been accepted by, I think it's over 27,000 Nova Scotians at this point. And so CUPE is actually asking us to rewrite all those deals with the Me Too clause, and they're asking us to do that without even being willing to take the deal to their membership to a vote. I don't know why they won't take it to their membership to a vote. I suspect they have some concerns about what would happen at that vote. But I think the first step, an important step, because we've already made the first step, I'll come back to that, but an important step is for them to take it to their members to a vote.
Atypical. Why do you think it would be appropriate in this case to go outside the usual norms of the collective?
Because 27,000 Nova Scotians have accepted it.
Me Too clause.
27,000 Nova Scotians have accepted it. I think the 3,000 CUPE members should have a chance to vote on it. And I hear from members, too, that want to vote on it. So I just think it's my position. It might be atypical, but it's my position, and it stands. But that said, we did go back to the table last week. We had a significant move, especially for the lower paid job classifications. So we'll continue we believe in collective bargaining. We'll continue to bargain, but they have to show some good faith too.
Will the province go back to the table again?
Oh, we'll never leave it. We'll always talk. That's how you get 400 deals done.
Will you go back to the table even if CUPE does not have their members vote?
We did that last week, but I think it's a significant stumbling block.
You just mentioned for Bill 148, has your government made a decision about whether to appeal that decision?
The lawyers are still lawyering on that, but there's also I think they're having some efforts to have a chat with impacted unions. I'd like to resolve it. That would be my preference. My preference would be to resolve this. Yeah.
So you need some movement on their part, but what they say they're owed, right?
Well, we'd have to have a discussion. We know it's a big number. This is a big mess. This is a massive mess that's been left to us. I actually find it pretty laughable to see people like Ian Rankin out on the CUPE picket line and stuff after their history, but it's a big mess they've left. But My hope is that we will resolve that without going back to court, but we have to keep that option open.
So when you say lawyers are lawyering, they're lawyering with the union's lawyers?
They're talking back and forth. There's a certain window for different filings and appeals and stuff, and they're just working through that process. But my preference is to resolve it, let everyone move forward.
What bearing does that case have on collective bargaining that you have ongoing with the long-term care workers, with any?
It doesn't have any. We're negotiating good faith with CUPE. That's just a side fact of what we're dealing with as a province.
The 300 million-ish is connected with the wage increases that were imposed on them, or is it to do with the long service?
There's many moving parts, and the 300 was the number I put, and I'm sure the unions have a different number. But I mean, the long and short of it is this is a significant issue for Nova Scotians to deal with, and I want to deal with it.
Are you calling the by-election soon?
Yeah. Stay tuned.
A question on behalf of my.
You were there last weekend. It felt like
Well, thank you for asking about my trip to Cape Breton last weekend. We opened at Cape Breton Medical School, and what a incredible moment that is for healthcare in Nova Scotia, particularly for rural healthcare, and having a chance to meet some of those Nova Scotia students that are attending that. That already the first cohort started obviously last fall. That they're pretty excited to be doctors here in Nova Scotia.
Just before we get too far away from Bill 148, how long do you think it will take for government lawyers to sort out this issue?
So there's a certain window of time that an appeal has to be filed. I just don't know what it is. It might be 30 days. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the window has even started, to be honest, but there's definitely a window of time. So I guess what we need to do between now and then is see what is the appetite for a discussion on that. That's what's happening.
A question on behalf of my colleague. Why hasn't the province signed the lease for the whale sanctuary project yet?
I'm not totally up to date on the most recent goings on that, but that would be the Crown lease that we're potentially interested in doing. I can only assume that we would only do that if at the point that it looks like there's a viable project. I don't know if that's the case or not. I just don't know.
Mayor, are you a Habs fan?
Right now.
So is that who you're rooting for the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, I think I would like to see a Canadian team win, but what I would like to see more is the Stanley Cup come back to Halifax with Nathan McKinnon. Thank you.
Are you concerned about the wait time to get a mammogram in this province?
Yes. Yeah, of course. I mean, any type of health, delays or wait lists and stuff. Those are main priorities for us. I think the concerns and the discussion around women's health is appropriate, and I am concerned about that. So we're making progress across healthcare in general, but there are certainly areas where more progress is needed.
Does that include recruiting radiation technologists?
Yeah, that's an ongoing effort for sure. Looking at recruitment, looking at what we can do with training, for sure.
All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you, Premier.
Thank you, Ava. Thanks, everyone.